Hey guys, how you doing? It's me, Andrew Flehan. Just trying to get everything a little situated. Sorry, was up late last night. Went to Atlantic City, won some money. Worked all day yesterday for some friends. Had a great time. Um, if you're watching this and you know what I'm talking about, the people I worked with yesterday were fantastic. Had an awesome time. Saw a lot of people. Um, Saw a lot of faces. I can't say anything else that I just had a fantastic time and I would love to do it every day if I could. Great people. Anyway, so this week I wanted to talk about how we treat our planet, meaning we litter, we do a lot of there's a lot of pollution, a lot of stuff like that. It's not more or less our fault. It could be big conglomerate companies and uh, whatever, but we do play a part in it. And let me just say, I'm going to talk about people that smoke cigarettes because that's where I see most of the litter that I see on streets. I see cigarette butts everywhere. It disgusts me. And not saying I'm perfect and I've never thrown a cigarette on the butt on the street or out of my window or whatever, or I've never smoked a cigarette before. Uh, but you go through times in your life and you look back at them and you say, what the hell did I do? Well, what the hell are we doing? We have a beautiful planet to live on for the rest of our lives and future generations. And what are we doing? We're destroying it. I've seen places, especially along the sidewalks and streets. I don't get it. We have ashtrays in our cars. And what do? We flick this cigarette right out the window. Um, I always say, I said it at once at another show that makes me laugh, some funny shit. Steve Martin, he was one of my favorite comedians of all time. He still is. If he'd ever just do something again, he just makes me laugh. Anyway, he used to say, always leave a litter bag in your car. If it gets filled up, just toss it out the window. And that's what we do. Not just with cigarette butts, but that's what we do. We go to McDonald's or Burger King or whatever fast food, and we're eating in our car and we're driving somewhere, and we look out the window as we're driving because I've seen people do it, and they toss a whole bag out the window, or they're in a parking lot, maybe at the Burger King or whatever, and they eat their food, and then they don't want to eat their fries, so they throw it out for the seagulls to eat. Which, by the way, is a law in New Jersey. You cannot feed the seagulls, I guess, because there's an overpopulation of seagulls, and someday they're going to grow to so big of an overpopulation that they're going to attack us or become mutants. I don't know. I really don't know anything about that. All I know it's illegal to feed the seagulls. They are disgusting because they eat all kinds of shit. If you go to the beach and they eat anything that's in the garbage, I guess if you're a seagull, that all looks delicious to you. You know, I can't really. I know it looks disgusting, but if I was a seagull, I might say, "Wow, that's absolutely delicious." You know. But anyway, not to get off the point. I see people just do stupid stuff, and I don't understand how we're gonna live forever on this planet other than destroying ourselves from war. But that's another whole different episode about destroying us, killing each other from wars. Hopefully that never happens. But if that doesn't happen, we're going to destroy our planet from just throwing garbage on the street. Now, I've seen people in the past couple of days just throw stuff right in front of me. I've asked people during events that I've been at to say, hey, listen, can you not take a water bottle somewhere with you and just leave it on the table, but please come back and pick it up. And they do pick it up. Or can you empty that bottle out because you can't have liquid or something in a certain place or something like that, and they empty it. But like I see people doing, they just throw it on the ground. They could put it in a sewer, a drainage. A sewer will go to a water treatment plant and clean it. But if there's something in it, like for instance, I've seen people toss tea and leave the tea bag just sitting there on the street, like it's biodegradable, so it's sitting there on a street or a sidewalk, and after maybe 10 or 15 years, it's just going to turn into the street. I mean, come on, really? That's ridiculous. I, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to sit there on the street. Uh, it's not like it's sitting in dirt and you covered it or you dug a hole and then you put it in the hole and then now 10 years later it just becomes dirt and it's great to use in your planting soil. This is ridiculous. It's funny. It's some funny shit that I see because I don't know if do we have brains enough that we can actually think that maybe I should. There's a garbage right there. I don't know if I can make it there because I'm so tired from standing here or waiting for the bus or whatever I'm doing that I can make it over to the garbage and put it in the garbage. Or if I'm eating in my car, now I'm so comfortable in my car. Do I have to get out of my car to go over to the garbage can to put it in? Whatever happened to those garbage cans at the McDonald's and the Burger King that stuck out a little bit, so you could drive up to them and just it would come up to your window and you could just put it in the window. Because we're so lazy now, we need more of those. We don't have any of those. I think people just thought this kind of, as it's happened, and people are getting a little bigger and heavier. And I shouldn't talk. I'm a little fat myself, but I'm a big guy. Anyway, and I like to eat. But something, we should get some exercise. So walking from the car to the garbage can is a little bit of exercise. But like I said, we're so lazy, we just toss it out the window. I don't get that. Especially if you're at a food place. Why would you want to toss the garbage out in the window in the parking lot? Oh, I know, because you think someone works there that's going to come out and clean it. Or someone works at the concert that you went at, and instead of going back from your seat back to the place where you got the hamburger and the hot dog during the concert and throwing it in the garbage, you think just throwing it on the floor, someone's going to pick it up later on. You don't have to worry about it. It's going to go in the garbage eventually. That's just stupid because that just means you just don't care about anything, like I said, except yourself. And I've said this in the past. And that's what it comes down to. You're lazy and you don't care about anybody else but yourself. But even if you don't care about anyone else and only about yourself, why would you throw the garbage right in front of you? I mean, me, I don't want garbage right in front of me. I'll go and hold it until the show's over and put it in the garbage can or get up and go and put it in the garbage can. Just like at the movies. You go to the movies and you get popcorn, candy, jujubes, and all that stuff, okay? All sugar daddy, all the candy, all that stuff, okay? And then what do? When you leave, there's big buckets of empty and half-eaten popcorn on the floor in front of you, in the seats next to you, cans of soda, whatever it is, not cans, but like the containers of soda or whatever you had in the cup holders. And people just leave it there because they think, oh, well, I don't have to take it out. Someone's going to come here and clean it because they're lazy. Even though there's garbage receptacles, when you're exiting the building, to put it in. It's easy. You just take it with you. When people go camping, there's no bathrooms out in the middle of nowhere. What do you think they do? They take it with them. And then they dispose of it when they find a place to dispose of it. Most of the time, people that go camping are more into the earth and treating it like it's a friend or something that they love than just treating it as a place that you're living at, and who cares? I have to live on this planet. There's no other planet close by. We can't live on the moon yet. Saturn's a little bit too hot, a little bit too cold, and Venus is a little bit too hot right now. I don't really need that tan that bad. So I'll stay on Earth. And I have to be here because there's really nowhere else to go. So I'll just, deal with it. That's what I think most of the people think of when, you know, in their life when it comes to litter. Now, I was talking about cigarettes. Now, like I said, I'm not the best. I'm not saying I'm the perfect person. I've never smoked or anything. I have, and I might have done this here or there. But when you're driving in your car, like I said, you have an ashtray. Why wouldn't you put it out in your ashtray instead of throwing it out the window? Oh, I know why. Because you use your ashtray to hold change. Maybe car dealerships should have a little container just for change, or one of those things that you put the quarters in, they slide in and hold in, the dimes and nickels that go into a little slot. And this way you can just pull them out when you need them. And then you can use your ashtray because it's got nothing on it, But I use my ashtray for change. I know a lot of people that don't smoke use their ashtray for change. But that also comes with garbage. When I drive my tractor trailer, I bring a bag, like a plastic bag with me. I have a ton of them in my tractor trailer, in the tractor, so that I can hook it onto the hook inside and use it as garbage. Why would I throw it on the floor and why would I throw it out? Plus, I'm so high up off the road, if I throw it out, it's going to hit someone in the front windshield. I'm going to get in trouble. I don't want to do that anyway because I don't want to litter. I don't litter garbage out of the truck or out of my car anywhere. I think it's absolutely disgusting. All I can think about is when I was a little kid, I used to watch, a lot of TV, and I used to see this commercial with an Indian, and he had a tear in his eye, and then he was looking over the city, but he was on this cliff, and then they zoom into him and him on the cliff. There was garbage all around his feet, and he was an American Indian. He was the first person that lived in America before anyone else. And I'm sure in other countries there were Indians or people that first, other than cavemen and before that, after that zone a little bit, when you started to respect your land. And they sure respected the land, and we surely don't. I don't want to sound that as a mean thing, but we need to start looking at our planet as someplace that we wanted to stay alive to the point where generation can be alive with it. Because if it dies out, then there's going to be no more humanity. Who knows? I'm not saying that maybe there's a planet somewhere in another solar system. Maybe I have an opposite of me somewhere else doing the same thing. Talking about the same shit. But you got to think, how long do we want to live on this planet? I'm not saying you and me. I'm only 50 years old. I probably got another, hopefully 40 years left. I'm thinking maybe 50 years left, but I don't think so because, it's times have changed. But I don't have kids, but my friends' kids and their kids, they want to grow up and live on this planet. How are they going to live on this planet when we're destroying it right now? There's big commercial conglomerates when I drive through Newark and I see all the stacks of smoke and blah going into the air. And all our trucks and vehicles, that's why they're making electric cars, because we are putting too much crap into the oxygen. People are walking around coughing their lungs out. Why? Because we need to have a fast car, or we need to have this awesome looking Jeep or a truck that can go off road. Meanwhile, we're just shooting all this disgusting crap into the air, and we don't really think about it, because all we think about is It's going to get me to A and B. It's going to make me look good. If I'm single, maybe I'll pick up some chicks or some guys, um, whatever. But we have to think about this a little differently. Getting back to the cigarette smoking, I know there was a law put into effect. I'm not sure if it was just New Jersey, maybe it was New York, maybe it was a whole bunch of different states, but I thought that when you go to a restaurant, you're not allowed to smoke within 50 yards or maybe even 50 feet of a restaurant's front door or the restaurant itself. I find that when I go to restaurants, right when you walk in the front door, right before you walk in the front door, there's this standing tube like thing that's like an ashtray. That doesn't look like it's 50 yards, not even 50 feet from the front door or from the building. And that really disgusts me because you just want to go in smelling like maybe the cologne or the perfume that you were wearing, and you're with a friend or a significant other, and you want to, have a good time, and you want to go in and smell the foods. You don't want to smell cigarettes in the foods. When you smoke, it's different. When you smoke, you don't smell the cigarette. You get so used to it. You don't smell it on your clothes. You don't smell it in your hair when you go, like, for instance, I was at a casino last night. I got home this morning and I could smell it on my clothes. I could smell it in my hair last night. It was like, it got to the point where it aggravated me. It aggravated me a lot because I don't want to smell that way. That is a disgusting smell. When you're smoking and you become addicted to it, you don't, I don't want to say that you don't smell it. You do smell it, but it smells different. It smells pleasant. I know that sounds terrible, but it smells pleasant. It smells good. And I think that's how the companies get you because you get addicted to it and it's like, this is, after dinner I need to have a smoke or after lunch or before lunch or whenever, you know, after sex, you have to have a smoke. I don't know what that is. Uh, I have no clue why that is. I think it's just implanted in that you've done after a meal, whatever, after something, you have to have smoke. After you get up in the morning, before you go to bed at night. That's the only before that I know that you have a smoke, before you go to bed. But everything is after dinner, after lunch, you know, after I read this book and have a smoke. After class, I'm going to go out and have a smoke. After work, I'm going to go out and have a smoke. After break, I'm going to go have a smoke. But it's implanted in our heads, and then we don't think anything about it when we're smoking. But when you stop smoking, you smell it. And you go, oh my God, I smell like that? I can't believe. I put all that smoke in my lungs, and now I'm littering myself. Other than littering the streets, it's disgusting. But to get back to the restaurants and stuff, I don't see how that's a law that's working very well. Because you see people coming out of restaurants, they had this great meal, and they just had dessert, and the first thing they smell when they come out is cigarettes. Or a cigar once in a while. I don't mind a cigar. It smells good, some of them. I like to smoke a cigar once in a while. I really like, the smell. Smoking other things that probably aren't legal yet in some states. In some states, they are legal. Unfortunately, I can't do that kind of stuff. But I pray to have cataracts one day, and maybe I can get on it. Other than that, there's things that smell good. There's things that don't smell good. Incense smells good, but we're not throwing incense on the ground outside when we're done. I see mostly what I see in garbage on the street is cigarette butts all over the place. They're everywhere. They're in sidewalks. They're on curbs. They're everywhere. They're in front of places. The ashtrays filled up. They're all over the place. It's like, who cares? Someone's got to care because they got to pick it up. But we need to start caring ourselves because we're littering the land. It's terrible. We have special places called landfills where all the garbage goes. That's where all the garbage should be. whether it has to go there in a receptacle or you go there and put your stuff there yourself. But don't throw things on the street or in front of someone's house or underneath the bushes in your next door neighbor's bush in his garden and then bury it. That's not fair. You're littering the land. You're littering not just his property, but you're littering the earth. Why? Because you're too lazy to go and put it out and put it in a garbage somewhere. Like you're too lazy to throw your garbage out from eating fast food. Or you go out and buy a can of soda. I see cans of soda cans all over the highways and freeways everywhere I drive to. Because, oh, that's a can. I don't want to put it in my garbage in my truck, or I don't want to leave it in the truck. It's going to smell and get sticky. I'm going to just toss it out the window. Or plastic bottles. How many plastic bottles have I seen everywhere? I see this commercial that we have enough plastic bottles in landfills or whatever that can go around the world 3 or 4 times. I don't get it why we're throwing them. Are we throwing them on the street to see if we can connect them all to see if that's really true? I don't get what we're doing. All I'm asking here and I'm talking about is for us to really just think about what we're doing with our planet. You know, I want to know what we're going to do in the end. We don't have a planet. I guess no one's going to be here because there's going to be no planet. We need to start picking up after ourselves. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I don't mean to be funny about cigarette butts, but there are none. We need to keep this world clean. We need to start working on big conglomerate companies and saying, hey, listen, you're pumping all this stuff into the skies. What is it doing to us? You know, I know some people think that airplanes go by and the smoke that comes out of the airplane or the exhaust is putting stuff into the clouds to make it rain or whatever. I really don't believe in that. I think it's just like a car. It's burning off the fuel that the jet is going, so that's the exhaust. I really can't see us sprinkling stuff into the clouds. I could see maybe back in the day, maybe in some Vietnam War or something like that, that they were doing that, but or when they dust crops, but I can't see that in jet planes. Uh, what are we going to do? We have to figure out some way. We're doing a little bit right now because we have these cars that are electric. And I think a lot of people want these electric cars, but there's some people that say they don't go fast enough. But what are we in a race for? Like I said in the last time we talked, what are we racing to get to first? I don't get that. Just take your time, be people, love each other, you know, have a good life, be healthy, and live a long life. We can do this if we're not such people that don't care about ourselves. And basically everything that I've been talking about since the first show is what it comes out to is that we're lazy and we don't care about anyone but ourselves. So who cares if we throw some garbage out? Now, before I leave, I just want to say something. One thing, some shit that really kind of pissed me off about littering was I live near the beach. So in the summertime, we had a lot of people that parked on our streets. And I saw this guy one day. He came with a half-eaten pizza, and he got off the beach. And I guess he didn't want his pizza anymore. So he just kind of threw the whole pizza out in the street, thinking that the birds and maybe the animals at night would come and have a fiesta time eating the, pizza, which had to be cleaned up by one of my neighbors because he thought it was disgusting, which I did too. I just didn't get to it in time. I did clean up his whole car where he was parked in front of my house. I walked out and I said, are you kidding me what you're doing? And he said, well, I have to clean my car out before I go home, all the sand. And I said, I can understand the sand, but you dumped your ashtray on the street. You took out all the bags of whatever you had, a McDonald bag and a Subway bag, and you just threw it on the curb. Meanwhile, we had garbage the next day, and our garbage can was sitting right there on the curb. You couldn't put it in the garbage can? Well, it's not my garbage can. That's what he replied. And I called him some choice names. One was the name was A Benny, which I'm going to get into on another show when I talk about some kind of funny shit and words that we call people, and another show about funny shit. Okay, but this is about disgusting shit tonight. And and then we had a little feud. No fist fighting or anything. I never got him to pick up the stuff. I ended up picking it up in the neighbor. He took the pizza box and threw it in the street too. And then he got in his car and he took off. And he wasn't from New Jersey. He was from another state right next door. I'm not going to mention any names because I'm not blaming. But if I was at his house and I did the same thing, what do you think he would say to me? And he was outside watching me. Do you think he'd say the same thing? Or do you think he would say, oh, no, that's okay. Just throw it in the street. I do it everywhere I go. I just think that maybe people in general, their attitudes are about themselves and who gives a crap or who gives a shit. And I'm just going to do whatever the frig I want. So we need to stop this. We need to stop this, and we need to treat our neighbors and our places we go on vacation to, everywhere that we go to, in a car or plane, or if we're traveling somewhere, don't leave the garbage on someone else's seat in a terminal, or don't, pick your nose and flick it on someone else's shoe. I know that's disgusting, but people do that. That's disgusting. They pick their teeth, or I see those little things where people floss their teeth. They're in the street everywhere. That is absolutely disgusting. Throw it in the garbage. Nothing, no animal is going to eat that. That's just going to sit there until someone sweeps it up or cleans it up. And if no one ever touches that spot, it's going to sit there forever. And why? Because you put it there because you were too lazy to go and throw it in the garbage after you picked your teeth. Friggin' absolutely disgusting. Or I've seen Q-tips in bathrooms because I've been the truck driver, and people clean their airs out and they can't even throw the Q-tip in the garbage. That is absolutely disgusting. It makes me want to puke. So, please, let's try to be a little bit more concerned about where we live and how we live, and maybe we can be a little bit more cordial to each other, like I've said in the past, and maybe all this will make us love ourselves a lot more and love where we are and live in this big planet, the big blue marble. I used to love that show. Anyway, and just take care of it. Take care of ourselves a lot more. So this, I want to say to everyone that I met yesterday before the end, is that I had the best time with the people. I met some great people. I can't wait to see them again if I do. Had a good time. I would like to thank my wife for everything. Like I said in the past, she's got some shit that really pisses her off. She has some shit that really makes her laugh. She has some shit that really disgusts her. Everyday shit that she talks about that gives me ideas for new shows every week. And we'll be seeing them soon. And I love her. Jill, thank you very much for everything that you do for me. I'd like to thank my pork chop, who is my little pit bull, for the shit that he puts out on the lawn in the backyard that I have to pick up and throw in a bag in the garbage that goes to the landfill. Thank you, pork chop. Love you. I'd like to thank Rita Powers, because she is the best woman friend that I know. I love her. She has a great attitude on life. I like to thank the Powers family because they all have to deal with her. And they all rub off from her because she's great and they're great too. Thank you for everything that you do, everyone that I meet through you. I also would like to say a shout out to Brian Osborne of Osborne Racing. Um, I don't know if he knows this, but he's sponsoring my show today because he's going to be an up and coming racer in whatever racetrack you decide to be on in life, and more power to you. Okay? Thumbs up. I also want to say thank you to future wardrobe assistant Justin Graham. You got some great clothes that you've given me, and they're my new wardrobe. Thank you very much. And I like to give a shout out, because it's shit happens. A shout out to John Graham, his father, who has on 1410 Snyder Avenue in Philadelphia, PA. Their phone number is 215-488-5800. Telstar Jewelers. Go to see them if you live in Philadelphia. They just made a ring that I saw, and it is absolutely beautiful. He does a fantastic job. Uh, Carol, hello to you too. So that's it. This show has been brought to you and produced by the Master Stroke Productions. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to just get with me and say, listen, can you give me a shout out, or can you give my friend, it's his birthday, I'd like you to shout out something for me. Or if you just have something that, some kind of shit that makes you happy, some kind of shit that makes you sad, pisses you off, anything, just email me at masterstrokeproductions@yahoo.com. That's all one word. masterstrokeproductions@yahoo.com. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next week. Be kind to each other. Take care of yourself. Take care of our planet we want to live for a long time. All right. Love you. Bye. Peace.